Hey, it is Whitney, and I wanted to share with you some of my insights on Instagram hashtags. So I've been doing Instagram literally since 2010, like a few months after it came out. Now it's the biggest thing in the social media world. So I have watched it grow and watched it change, and I want to share with you some of the tips about hashtags that I have. So I did make this spread and I shared it on Instagram and had a ton of comments and questions about using hashtags on Instagram. So I kind of want to go over my process with hashtag research, because if you do it the right way, your likes are definitely noticeable and can go up and up and up. If you use the right ones, you can get discovered and get seen by different accounts. So I want to go over with you some of the quick tips that I've learned and how to do hashtag research. All the tags that I have now, this is all about bullet journals and planning, but I'm going to do some research for a picture of a chalkboard. So I just started doing chalkboard art. So I haven't done any research on any of these hashtags. So I want to show you when I post, I'm about to post this picture, but I want to show you how I find the right hashtags for the picture. So I'm going to switch over to actual Instagram and my phone and show you how to find these things and see which ones really are working for you. My recommendations are using mostly hashtags with about 100,000 to 1 million uses. And I do recommend to use a few with over 1 million that are very popular in your niche, and also using some of these feature accounts and ones that are about 10,000 to 100,000. But I think the majority should be about this much, because you know that they're pretty active, they get searched a lot, and people are going in and actually liking these pictures. If you do use the pictures with 1 million plus, they are pretty popular at the very beginning, but they kind of get lost in the shuffle just because there's so many pictures posted with these tags. People will go through and like all these pictures, but not a lot of real followers. A lot of bots and things follow the bigger hashtags. So you might get a lot of likes from the same accounts, but they'll never follow you because they have some kind of bot working for them. And that's not cool. Instagram doesn't like that. It's definitely against their terms of service. So I don't recommend it. So anyways, let's go to Instagram. This is the Instagram app, and I'm going to this search button down here. And I'm looking for hashtags related to chalkboards and chalk lettering. So I'm going to search the very first thing I could think of, a big broad one, and I'm going to type in chalkboard and go to tags here and see what kind of suggestions that we get. So chalkboard here has 1 million posts. You can see how many posts right underneath the hashtag. So I'm going to click on that. You do see the actual one, and you get it split into the top posts. Okay, that's weird, this video. And then you get the most recent posts. So these are the ones you can go through. You can see it's pretty active. It was done, these posts 7 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, kind of scroll down, 11 minutes ago, etc. So you see that that's a pretty popular post for chalkboard. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of paper and just start making some notes. And once I do this research once, it's done for good. So you can always come back and update it a few months later with the hashtags. A lot of hashtags grow very quickly, so you might run across some new ones that are trending in your niche. But you do want to make sure that they're very relevant hashtags. So I do want to write this chalkboard down. And another, if you are serious about doing this, a good way to do it is put it in a Google Sheet or a doc. Sheets are easier to sort and organize. So I'm just going to put the hashtag and then the number of uses. And then this is 1 million. And then I'm just going to go underneath. You can see some related hashtags. So I'm going to chalkboards with a plural that has 56.8 thousand. So you can also see what kind of pictures do well for these hashtags, because they'll be on the top. Chalkboard art is a good one. That's really good. It has 304,000. I'm actually following this hashtag, and that's a new feature. It's been around about a year or so where you can actually follow your favorite hashtags. So it is lettering, so I'm going to just keep going through and kind of look at all these hashtags. So chalk lettering. And sometimes you will need to scroll over to find some different hashtags, because a lot of these will start repeating themselves. Chalkboard lettering is another okay one. And some of these that you'll come across only have about less than 10,000. You probably don't want to use these just because they're not very active. People probably aren't really looking at them. There's a few, I mean, that was posted like 2 hours ago, 6 hours ago, so there's a few per day on these, but still it's not going to get you too much engagement. The good thing about using some of these smaller hashtags is that you will probably wind up on the top, or you can wind up on the top a lot easier on the top trending page, and sometimes that'll stay there for a month or so. You'll be up here for a long time. But I like to use more of the bigger tags, because then, especially if you get into the top pages on one of these hashtags, you're likely to get on the explore page, which is when you click just this magnifying glass, and you sometimes will be featured on here, meaning you'll get a ton more exposure, and people will come and discover your account through this page. So I'm going to keep going with the hashtags. I know that chalkboard, I'm kind of running out of some ideas, but I do have lettering. Since it is like a lettering picture, I can start looking at some of those hashtags. So lettering is a huge one with 10 million. You can see that's super active. We don't necessarily need to use one of these, but if you do use one with 1 million, just use a few of them. So, but these big ones are the best ones to search for the related hashtags, where you'll find some of these are a little bit better. And then another way to find relevant hashtags is to go to some of these bigger hashtags. I'm going to go back to chalkboard and then look at some of these top ones that are similar to your pictures and look at what hashtags they use. So you might have to, depending on the post, you might have to scroll down and see what type of hashtags they use. It is recommended max 30 hashtags. But don't use 30 just to use 30. They do need to be relevant to your picture, because Instagram, and you do want to change them up on every picture, because Instagram is kind of weird about that. They could shadow ban you, which means that you won't show up in searches for hashtags. So if somebody's not following you and they are looking at the hashtags, your picture won't show up if they shadow ban you. Instagram's very vague about this. They do it. I've had my account shadow banned for a few days before, and I think it was because I kept using the same hashtags over and over, the hashtag blocks over and over again. So I kept copy pasting them, and that is a no-go for them. So this is a way around it. You just need to use most relevant hashtags, and you can get some ideas in these captions. Like this one, she uses chalk art, which I don't have, and that's a good one. Okay, so now I have researched and I got about 21 different related hashtags to the picture that I want to post. So now I can add all of these tags to a spreadsheet, have the research forever. I won't have to do this every single time I post, but a lot of the times all my posts are very similar with the journal in hand, and I have a lot of the same hashtags that I use. I just shuffle through them. So I will attach to the post all about these hashtags, I'll attach the guide with some starter hashtags if you want to get started doing the research, and I'll also give you guys a picture of this. If you just want to print it out, you can see all the research yourself, even though it's not a sortable list. It's just some of the research that I actually did for bullet journal and planning posts. So anyways, please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this really helps you in your hashtag game. Another question is, should I post it in the hashtags in the caption, or should I post them in the first comment? I always have them ready to paste. I always type out the whole caption in the caption, hashtags and all, so I can get everything there, and then I'll quickly just highlight all the hashtags in the post. They're always in a block spaced by periods on separate lines, so it kind of cleans up the look of it. So I take all of that, cut it, and then right after I post, I go in and paste it in the very first comment. So it's not too cluttered. If somebody expands my caption, they don't have to scroll all the way down through the hashtags. They don't even see them because they are in that first comment unless they're going to comment on it. So I hope this helps. I know there's tons of questions around this, and Instagram never really gives us answers, but this is my best guess. So please let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you find some inspiration in the hashtag research guide on the website. If you do like this video, please give it a thumbs up and definitely subscribe to the channel. I will talk to you guys later. Until next time, bye.